Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Anna. I am a portrait photographer in the Chicagoland area, and today I'm going to try to recreate an album cover. So I've had this idea in my mind for a little while now, where I take some album covers or I take some movie posters that I really like and try to use the gels that I have to try to imitate that look. First one that I wanted to do is the artist Weeknd's album Starboy. I thought this one was pretty simple. I pretty much looked at the photo over and over and realized that essentially what I think is going on here is that there's a blue light that is pretty much just shining onto him separately, and then there's another light that's going directly onto the wall that's completely red. I also wanted to use the Sony A7 III because this is a camera that I'm considering getting. If you are a fan of Sony or you are using this camera currently, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. Anyway, the equipment that I was using today was the A7 III along with an 85mm lens and two of the GVM lights to incorporate those colors. Since this was technically my first time using the Sony to take some portraits, I was getting really frustrated since I don't know anything about it. I am typically a Canon person, as you guys know, in my photo shoots, so using the Canon was a bit frustrating and a bit tricky to start off at first. But the great thing about Sony is they actually have an app that you can use and download from the App Store or the Google Play Store. And once you download the app and connect your phone to the camera via Bluetooth, you pretty much have all of the technology and the settings that you need in order to change the ISO, change the aperture, change anything that you really need. And right before the photo gets taken, it pretty much autofocuses to figure out where the subject is and begin shooting. So once I had taken all the photos, it was time to open up Lightroom and begin editing. So this is the photo that we're going to be editing today, and there wasn't that much to do, but I figured I would want to enhance a lot of the things that was missing in the straight out of camera shot. So this is the photo that it looks exactly straight out of the camera. You can see that it's pretty dark on the left side of my face, and because of the blue light, it was mixing with the red on the wall, so it was kind of turning it pink. So we're pretty much going to fix that up a little bit and make it red. So one of the things that you have to do when it comes to getting rid of those shadows is going into the light panel on the right hand side and bringing up those shadows. Obviously, as you can tell in the before portion, it was pretty dark, so adding those shadows in really enhances the face and makes it more easy to see the left hand side. I also brought down the highlights because the gels were so bright that it caused a lot of shine and sheer, so pretty much bringing the highlights down, and also the contrast helps a lot with that. Now, this is the most important part when it comes to editing this photo, is the color. So I brought the temperature down just a little bit to enhance the blue in the photo, but I also brought the vibrance and the saturation back up because obviously this is a colored photo. We want to make sure that the colors are really standing out. And on the right hand side, when you go into the colors panel, there is this rainbow circle wheel, so we're just going to tap on that. And what we're going to do here is in the reds, we're going to bring the hue down to make it a little more red than it was before. And also, as you can tell in the straight out of camera shot on the right hand side, there's a little bit of pink going on. So what we're going to go do is go into the pinks, and we're going to change the hue to make it back into red. And obviously you can see that it was you have to bring it all the way to the right hand side, so you have to be aware of this when you're taking photos, that you make sure that the blue gel is not conflicting with the red gel behind them, or else it turns pink, and that's just sort of a hassle to deal with when you're editing. Now, the last things that I was doing on this photo is pretty minor. I pretty much just went ahead and brightened up the eyes. This isn't something that you necessarily have to do. And I also went ahead and reduced the shadows on the left hand side of my face as well, just to really enhance that side of my face that was missed with all of the shadows that was going on. And then, as always, I went ahead and drew over all of my skin to really reduce that texture. You can obviously tell with a really bright light, you can see a lot of my pores, so really just reducing that with the reducing of the sharpness and of the clarity really allows to have a less textured skin. So the last thing that we're going to do is throw it into Photoshop and download a text font that is similar to the album cover. I will have it linked down in the description below, and use the pen tool on the left hand side to click around the text and make sure that you're selecting around the head, because this is going to be removed because we want it to look as if the text is behind my head, and click on the text layer and click mask. The last thing that you can do is, if it's too rough, you can kind of curve the edges a little bit to make it smoother, or hide it a little more behind the head, and then you're done. So as I've mentioned before, there is the Sony app that you can use to connect to your camera, and this basically is a lifesaver if you're trying to take self-portraits. The reason why I think it's so helpful is because you have all of those settings readily available to you, and it pretty much autofocuses right before you take the snapshot. So this is going to be really convenient for someone who's trying to do self-portraits and can't really use you can't really see behind the screen, or you don't have a remote to do a self-timer. If you guys are interested, I have the 85mm for both the Canon and the Sony now, so if you guys want me to do a comparison video, please feel free to leave a like or let me know in the comments below. Another tip that I want to mention is, because you want that blue light to be directly onto the subject, it is going to be a little difficult when it comes to making sure that the highlights aren't too bright. So what I would really recommend is to take a couple test shots, having the light be extremely close to the subject, have it be a little bit farther away, and then have it really far away to see kind of like what you're feeling and how you would want to recreate this image. The last tip that I have for you is, don't be afraid to be inspired by other people's work. I know that sometimes people can think that that's stealing other people's content or not really having that much creativity, but I usually like to be inspired by other photos, and I really like checking out other people's work because it really gets my creative juices flowing. And especially with something like an album cover or a movie poster, it's really simple to kind of see what they're working with, and you obviously could have a different subject, or you can clearly have a different background to kind of get it to the way that you personally would want it to be. But that is all of the tips that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys really liked this video. I'm kind of thinking of doing a series, something similar to this. So if you guys are interested in seeing me recreate movie posters or album covers, please let me know in the comments below. I also have a photography playlist where you can go behind the scenes with a lot of other photo shoots that I've done recently, and continue going through the process of editing and other tips and tricks that I have for you. I also have a travel playlist where you can travel the world with me and see what I do in my free time. But that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys are staying safe, and I will see you guys in the next video.